Welcome to Steril Aire's Ride the Green Wave. The wave is symbolic of the incredible opportunity that is available to us with the world waking to sustainability, energy problems, carbon emission, or green. I want to take a few minutes to give you an overview of the company, where we have come from, and more importantly, where we are going. For those of you who do not yet know me, a short background. I earned my PhD as a doctor of microbiology from UCLA, specializing in infectious diseases. I've had other graduate work in immunology and immunochemistry. I then worked in space biology, biological warfare, food microbiology, and pharmaceutical quality control. In the 1970s, I built my own medical manufacturing company, which I later sold. I had become interested in the causes of and solutions to sick building syndrome, in part because of the 1976 Legionnaire's disease outbreak in Philadelphia. In the early 1980s, I met an inventor who was interested in the same area and had invented a new UVC lamp to remove the microbes from the air in HVAC systems. I tested this new invention on its ability to destroy microbes and found it to be very efficient. The first time they took me to see a cooling coil, the realization hit me. I think I said, "Holy!" The coil was full of mold and bacteria. It was obvious that this was the main cause of poor indoor air quality. It occurred to me that this amount of mold also affected the building's mechanical air conditioning performance. The condensate created in the cooling coils enables the mold and bacteria to grow. Mold will even grow without any apparent water in relative humidities as low as 30%. Mold may double approximately every 4 hours, and in about 16 days, one invisible mold spore will, in moist conditions, become trillions. The mold takes in food and passes out waste products that are volatile and enter the airstream. It is distributed throughout the building, perhaps making people sick. The mold and bacteria combine together, creating a biofilm, which turns out to be a very effective biological primer coat on the metal fins of the coil. The biofilm also acts as a nursery for the growth of virus, bacteria, and mold. Its sticky surface enables the dirt to stick to the metal and thereby insulates the metal from the air, reducing the coil's ability to cool the air passing over the fins. The biofilm also blocks the spaces between the fins, reducing the airflow, thus raising the static pressure. To maintain the building at the desired temperature, the fans have to work harder. The chilled water temperature may be lowered, making the chiller and compressor work more, resulting in increased energy costs. At the same time, the bacteria that enter the building and the viruses that get distributed are circulated by the AC system throughout the building. It took us 10 years to turn the test lamp into a fully systems-engineered product, the Steril Aire emitter and power supply, with all the supporting fixtures and accessories. By placing our emitters by the coil, the UVC light destroys the biofilm by altering its DNA, and it releases its grip on the metal and falls away, leaving the coil clean and returning the equipment to as-built condition, thus eliminating the largest source of pollution for IAQ. The emitters also stop virus and bacteria circulating in the airflow by creating a UVC barrier at the coil, and at the same time starving to death the mold growing in the ducts, which feed off the waste from the mold grown in the coil. What is important to remember is that Steril Aire discovered the cause of indoor air quality problems, developed the solution, and built the products based on pure science and engineering. No other company can make this claim. We were awarded our first patent in 1993 and started the company in 1994. We went to our first ASHRAE meeting in 1995, and we've been exhibitors ever since. Now, 14 years later, in the US of A, we have 8 regional sales managers. Our distributors have sales offices in over 100 locations. Plus, we have 53 international distributor sales offices and are expanding. In 1985, oil was so cheap, no one cared about energy savings. The majority of people smoked, so IAQ was basically ignored. Today, the world has changed, and green, energy conservation, IAQ, health, food liability, manufacturing standards are all the rage. In fact, an unusual phenomenon is that developers and building owners around the world are adopting green standards long before the government legislates it. The world has found that green is profitable. ASHRAE has now recognized UVC, and they are working on research to develop ASHRAE UVC standards. The world standards are regulated by Geneva-based ISO, which was formed in the 1960s by the leading industrial nations. Hopefully, within 2 or 3 years, world UVC standards will be accepted. Steril Aire's emitters will reduce some virus, bacteria, and mold. The problem of hospital-acquired infections is growing greater every day. In the USA, our government reports that 10% of all people who stay in hospitals are infected. Each year, 90,000, or 1 person every 6 minutes, die from HAIs. And similar numbers are true in the rest of the world. Our emitters may help hospital air quality. Food poisoning and food recalls are becoming regular events. Our emitters are being used to reduce the bacteria on food and increase the shelf life of food. Every day we hear of more water shortages created by changing world climate. Already a side benefit of our emitters is water conservation. Governments are offering financial incentives and tax relief, or penalties to incentivize buildings to reduce energy use and carbon emissions. We have many examples of energy savings. With carbon emission restriction being imposed, industry is now trading carbon credits rather like building owners in New York's old air building rights. It is calculated that 1,607 kilowatt hours produces 1 metric ton of carbon. In Europe, the current rate to buy carbon credits is $6 per ton. The EPA is warning about the problem and cost of indoor air quality. Energy companies are starting to look at Steril Aire's energy solution and discussing providing incentives to customers to use our emitters. Museums are starting to understand that their irreplaceable art treasures are being destroyed by mold, and Steril Aire's emitters provide significant protection. We at Steril Aire have developed a great team dedicated to support you. We focus our efforts on R&D to keep us ahead of the competition, not only in-house, but also supporting university research, development of new products to service specific applications, development and documentation of the science to support our claims, providing technical support to institutions to validate the technology, such as ASHRAE, ISPELS, and ISO, manufacturing quality products at competitive prices. In fact, through continuing value engineering and increased efficiencies, we have not raised our prices for 10 years, reacting quickly and efficiently to our distributors' needs. Continuing an ongoing development of marketing material, keeping our name, brand, and products in front of the customers as the first, the leaders, emitters, not ordinary lamps, most powerful, most economical. Providing our distributors technical support, provide and encourage training, differentiating ourselves from the competition. The bottom line is that after 25 years since I started research, we have created a world market for a product of which we are proud, and that saves energy, reduces the AC electric bill, reduces carbon footprint, improves IAQ, reduces the use of chemicals in AC cleaning, reduces ozone created within the building, automatically cleans the coils, saves maintenance labor, conserves water, removes bacteria from food, protects the art treasures of the world, may help hospital air quality, and perhaps saves lives. There are no other products that have so many attributes which also make a profit for the customer as well as the seller.